welcome back to the Car Show. We are here on week 4, is it now?
Yeah,
Happy 4. So we're back with some special guests, and as you guys know, we typically dress like like the teammates that we bring on. So I don't know if it's obvious. It is obvious to us, of course. We see her every day, but we have a special guest named what's her name again?
Leslie Osborne.
That's the one.
You know what? And the best part about this is that she has no idea what she's getting herself into because has she watched our show yet?
I said you're on the Carmenella show. She said, "What's that?"
Yeah,
so
she hasn't been involved yet.
It's a bit new for her. So
and then
she's
we
up for a
have
treat.
Somebody else joining us as well.
That's right. Her name is Taylor Vel. She is basically a youngin on the team who has done an incredible, a rookie. We call her Rook, right? That's
Yeah.
what we say. She's done an incredible job. The last 2 games has really done a good job for this team. The reason we brought them on together, to be honest, is because they have a very interesting dynamic, which you'll get to experience. So we're looking forward to that, and hopefully the show will be as entertaining as the last few.
Yeah, and I don't know. I know you were gone last week.
I was. Yeah.
So we played, right? Obviously, you watched the game.
Totally.
And there was this thing that happened on Twitter, and somehow the royal family got out. And that's fine. Thank you so much. But the thing was that somebody was talking about getting knighted.
Who?
Yeah, so I got like probably 10 or 15 things about being knighted.
Oh, the peasant being knighted, that's not going to happen. I mean, no amount of kind gestures will get you to that point.
Next week,
so
stay tuned, maybe.
Probably not. Thanks anyway. But on we get to the interviews. What do you think? Yeah?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Welcome back. Obviously, our guests that have joined us. Give them a round of
Hello, guys.
applause.
Woo! Welcome. Welcome to our wonderful show.
Yeah.
If you have time, actually, before we start, these glasses are basically showing how Leslie lives her life in every day. This is Leslie in a nutshell, right? So if you guys don't mind, go ahead and put these on.
Sum it up
For the rest of the interview.
Okay.
You as well, please.
Okay.
It's more for you than anyone, so.
Join the club.
Thank you, Leslie, and go on, Alice.
Okay. Oh, no, you're good. All right, so today we're going to ask them each 3 questions, give or take, and then we have a fun little game to play, and then we have 2 bonus rounds. It's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a very good show.
Act like you're excited.
I'm so excited. I can't wait for your first
She has no idea about the show anyway.
Who'd like to go first?
Leslie's all over it.
Okay.
Thanks, Taylor. Such a gentle.
First question. Now, a lot of people helped us with these questions.
Oh, good.
So, okay.
Hope
Number
Darren
1.
and Rory were part of this.
So what would you say is your favorite nickname? I'm going to give you 3 choices. Okay. Number 1, Ozzy. Number 2, Lester. And number 3, Les. It's hard.
Yeah.
My favorite would be Ozzy out of that.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll just go with it.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
All right, Con, you're out.
Yeah, next question. So we know that you're super passionate about soccer, but you have a lot more to you, of course. So if you don't mind sharing with people some of your other passions, and I know you basically do something on a daily basis that I think a lot of people would be interested in knowing about. So what would that be?
Yeah.
That would be it.
Well, for fun, I'm a yogi. I do yoga every day. It's called Core Power Yoga, and I go every day.
Yes.
And all my teammates know what time I go.
6:15.
We have to actually hurry this up
Yeah.
to get,
Yeah, so I'm already thinking about how I can't be late.
Okay.
You gotta hurry up because she's gotta go to the But what do you like about it? Why do you go?
I started about 2 years ago to help my body. I've had a lot of surgeries, and I've been encouraged to do it and start it, and I finally did. And it helps my head and it helps my body, and it's a daily routine, and I love it.
Good outlet. Excellent. Really nice. All right. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm sure you're welcome.
Yeah, it's so cool. One more for you then.
Okay.
One more. You're very special. Very.
Oh, thanks.
Can we say your outfit though first? Could you stand up and show us your outfit just to see if we got it correctly?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, let's see if we got it.
We didn't actually tell her we were going to
No.
do this. I should be in a tank top, but hey, this is when
nice.
it's a little cooler. Anyway, so she wore this without us knowing that she was going to wear this. So we're pretty spot on about Leslie. Thank you.
A+ for us. Okay, if you had to describe how exactly you eat your bagels. We have a picture coming live shortly,
good.
okay?
Okay.
We tried to get a bagel, but we didn't get to find one. So if you had to just describe, let's say in 3 key points.
Okay. I like crusty,
That's quotable.
Yeah.
hard,
Okay. No, how you eat it.
Because I like crusty and things. I like to eat the outside. So I usually eat the outside of a bagel, the outside of a donut hole, the crust off the pizza. That's what I do.
Again, we'll send you a picture.
We'll send you a
guys.
picture. It's not like anything I've
not
ever
that
seen
weird.
before.
It's
No,
not that weird.
I must. No,
No.
it's
It could-
normal.
It could be worse.
You're right. It could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Honestly, you have
Yeah.
nothing to worry about. So,
Thanks,
welcome. So, Taylor, we'll move on to you.
Great. Oh, yeah,
You
okay.
have the first one.
So you've been with Rory since you were about 12, which goes about 10 years now?
Yeah.
So could you say the biggest difference from when he coached you then, or the 10 years, if he's changed, if you still love him as much now as you did then?
Or more.
Or more,
that's
yeah.
possible.
We'll go with love, go with like.
Okay. Good start.
Yeah. No, I think he's gotten a little bit nicer with age.
Wow.
Definitely. Not as
Missed
much of the running nightmares and everything that we used to do when we were younger.
Okay.
But, that might be an age thing.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, Rory's just Rory.
Good.
Excellent.
Unique.
Yeah.
If someone
That's
say
a good
unique. There it is.
Okay, so on the topic of unique, so why don't you go ahead and tell us some of the things you like to do in your off time?
Baking, cooking, drawing,
Okay.
painting.
Oh yeah, she does do little characters, the cartoons.
Yeah, I can draw.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I have a nannying job, which is awesome. So
Yes.
it takes up a lot of time.
If you weren't playing soccer, what is something that you would choose to do with your time?
Oh. If I wasn't playing soccer,
You
No,
make candles.
yeah.
Okay, for
Candles,
living
There
it
it is.
That's what I do.
That's good. You did it once, maybe you can do it again. That would be pretty
Why
cool.
not?
All right, well, good. We have a little fun game for you guys as well, okay? So,
You gotta turn your brain on. You guys
gotta
gotta
turn
get
your
ready.
brain on.
Okay.
This is a bit of rapid fire. I'll give you a bit of background. So, you have to just finish the sentence, okay?
They're like common sayings.
These are cliches.
Yeah.
Cliches. Got a bit of inside information. This isn't Leslie's strong point, so
And we're hoping Taylor
Pretty
steps
sure-
up to the bar.
I'm pretty sure she's messed up more than she's got right. So,
Where's
here-
Taryn? I'm here to finish telling you.
I wouldn't call Taryn in a moment because she's the one who actually suggested it. So.
That wasn't me.
Taryn Vel.
Taylor Vel. We're gonna, if you don't mind. So sticks and stones will break your bones, but
Words would never hurt me.
yeah, that's
Very
good. All right,
Are
she
you
nailed
sure
it.
that's right?
Yes, that's right.
Guys, we're not acting like this
Not
is real
too
life.
long.
So the next one here, the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse.
This is for you, Les.
Me?
Yeah.
That was for
For
Taylor.
Taylor, for Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
the
know.
second mouse
I don't know. Gets the cheese.
gets the cheese. Got it. Well done. Okay, well, Melissa, you're next.
Okay. Les,
Here we go.
there's just 2 blanks, so there's just 2 words you have to add into this one,
Yes.
okay?
See if she knows
People in a glass house shouldn't blank blank.
it. Okay, go on then. Maybe just give it to her.
Okay, throw, and then what's the last one?
People in a glass house shouldn't throw
Throw.
balls.
Bricks or stones?
Bricks or stones? You know,
Balls and then get it right.
also break the glass as well. It would.
Okay,
would.
yeah.
Okay,
It's not the
Thanks
worst
for that
answer.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
here's another one. Don't count your chickens
Before
before.
they hatch.
There it is.
Excellent. Very good. All right.
The reason we call these 2 on, they're 2 exceptional people, but they have a very unique, they have a very interesting relationship. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch roles.
Yes.
So Leslie, I want you to act how Taylor acts towards you, and then Taylor, I want you to act how Leslie acts for you.
Oh, I can nail this.
Taylor's ready. I think she does it actually on her own time
Yes.
when nobody asks her.
Yeah.
So why don't let's
Go
show
ahead,
everybody your
you
dynamic.
guys take over.
You're so annoying.
I love you too, Leslie.
That's pretty much it. Just
Okay,
tell everybody
okay.
what this is. This is the
Yeah.
root of this.
She's a bully.
Can we tell
She's a
Can you just tell us how it started, that first
Yeah.
practice when somebody...
Well, it started before that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's just when it came out.
Okay.
Mhm.
Bully rookie.
Right.
I'm playing.
Right.
5v5. You know, I'm
Yeah.
delicate. I'm a veteran. I'm a little old already. I'm playing. The ball's up in there coming to me. I'm about to flick it on and like score a goal, and she pushes me from behind.
Really?
And it could have hurt. You know, it kind of hurt, but it scared me, and I was like,
What was your reaction?
I said, Taylor, you can't do that.
Well, your dinosaur butt wasn't in the way.
The bonus question is this. as Leslie said, her passion is yoga. So whoever can tell me, you can pick any pose you want.
Any pose.
And whoever can name this pose, gets the free ticket. So whoever can watch this video, tell me what pose she's doing, gets the 2 tickets for the game this Sunday, 3 o'clock versus Boston. Big game.
Well, thank you guys for your time and your energy and your banter. That was quite honest. Expected a little bit more than we had hoped for, but you guys take it off the field a little bit too, which is good. So, anyways, long story short, let's join us next week for, well, when's the next time we'll be back? Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas City. So hopefully, next week.
Next week. Okay, let's go ahead and vote and see, who you guys would like on the show next, and we'll go from there. So, thank you guys.
Thanks, y'all.
And we welcome you into this presentation of the National Women's Soccer League. Today from Benedictine University Sports Complex in Lisle, Illinois, it's the Chicago Red Stars and the Boston Breakers. Hi again, everyone. Rob Coons. Happy to be joined by Monica Gonzalez, former captain of the Mexican national team and WUSA All-Star for the Boston Breakers. Monica, welcome to the broadcast here. And a nice day for soccer in the Chicago area. Chicago has something to look forward to coming off of their first win of the season, a 2-0 win at Portland last weekend.
That's right. Chicago is coming off their first win, but they're looking for their first win at home, and that's a big thing to be able to score goals at home and get wins. And they've only scored 1 goal at home so far this year, but they've gotten a facelift in the last couple of weeks. They've gotten 2 German players, Inka Grings and Sonja Fuss, and these are 2 players who are pillars on this team already after only 8 days with the Chicago Red Stars. So it'll be great to see how quickly they get incorporated in the last game against Portland. Sonja Fuss was amazing. She took over the back line right away. You could see that she was vocal. She was running the show, and it's a little bit easier for a defender to come in and gel right away, but for a forward, it's going to take a little bit of time as far as getting the choreography and stuff down. So that's what we're going to watch for today.
We'll set the rest of the scene for the game in just a moment, but now we join public address announcer Sean Sullivan for the presentation of the starting lineups.
Number 8, Julie King. Number 9, Heather O'Reilly. Number 10, Leanne Sanderson. Number 11, Joanna Lohman. Number 12, Katie Schefter. Number 14, Tia McNeil. And number 20, Mariah Nadera. Boston is coached by Lisa Cole. Now, let's get the starting lineup for your Chicago Red Stars. The captain, 17, Lori Kalaki. In goal, number 1, Erin McLeod. Number 3, Ella Messer. Number 8, Jessica McDonald. Number 11, Rachel Kwan. Number 14, Karen Henning. Number 18, Jackie Santa-Catarina. Number 19, Julianne Sitch. Number 21, Ika Green. Number 22, Sonia Foos. And number 23, Michelle Winino. The head coach of your Red Stars is Rory Dane. The assistants, Stephanie Foster, Christian Lavers, and Trey Manning. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Remove your caps and remain standing for the playing.
So the starting lineups and national anthem played before today's game between the Chicago Red Stars and Boston Breakers. Rob Coons, Monica Gonzalez now back inside the Chicago Red Stars broadcast booth. And Monica, we talked briefly about the new look for the Chicago Red Stars. Let's talk about the Boston Breakers as this game gets set to start. Boston now, its third game in 9 days, and it's been a rough stretch for the Breakers. They gave up 5 goals last Saturday in a loss at Sky Blue, and then gave up a last-second goal Wednesday against Western New York, a game they thought they had won, ended up being a 2-2 draw. So now the Breakers have to go on the road yet again and try to find a way to come up with 3 points away from home.
Right, and Boston has so far this season given up 9 goals on the road, so I think their focus is going to be on defense. I know that they're a team that as soon as they lose the ball, they want to try to recover it right away, recover within 5 seconds, and if they can't do that, they're going to try to drop off the ball, trap the Chicago Red Stars, win it, and then look to spring in Sydney Leroux and Heather O'Reilly.
Leroux, a player who had a field day against Chicago in the first meeting between these two teams back on May 4th, a 4-1 Boston win. A hat trick for Sydney Leroux as she earned Player of the Week honors for her performance. And obviously, there are a lot of keys to shutting down Boston, but Sydney Leroux is one of the big ones. You got to know where she is at all times.
And Boston has proven to be a different team without Sydney Leroux on the field, and Heather O'Reilly is another very important player. You know, Heather is not just an attacking player. She is just as equally important in the defensive role she plays. She is such a hard worker. She tracks back every single time she has to on defense, and that, I think, was a big factor the past few games that Heather O'Reilly wasn't there.
One of the changes in the Red Stars lineup today, Lydia Vandenberg, who had started all 7 games for the Red Stars in the back line, will not start today. She's dealing with a little bit of a banged-up left ankle, and so the back line shifted around a little bit for Coach Rory Dames in Chicago. And Vandenberg, again, one of the players that would have been key to stopping the Boston attack, and now Chicago's got to find a way to do it without her.
Vandenberg she's a fast player. She gets forward. She gets up the line. She's consistent. She's played every minute for Chicago so far. And assistant coach Stephanie had told me that they could have played Lydia today. She had a knock on the ankle, but because they have 4 games in 10 days, today's the day that she's going to rest. So that's the decision that they went with Lydia Vandenberg.
So taking Vandenberg's place on the back line, a combination, Rachel Kwan and Michelle Weneno, both of which have seen starts already this season for Chicago. They will both start on the back line as we are just about set to go here from Benedictine University in Lisle, as Lori Kolupny standing over the ball, the captain for the Chicago Red Stars, ready to get things started. On the referee whistle, glad to have you along on the broadcast, and want to make this as interactive and broadcast as we possibly can. Send us your questions. Tweet us at Chicago Red Stars this afternoon. We're following that up here in the broadcast booth. You got questions about the Red Stars, about Boston, questions from Monica Gonzalez. We'll handle them all at Chicago Red Stars on Twitter all afternoon long. There is the whistle, and we are underway. Red Stars controlling possession early as Julianne Sitch will send it forward right into the Boston midfield, and now we head back the other direction. And McLeod out off of her line high to chase that one over to Rachel Kwan on the left side. Chicago in the home light blue tops, white shorts. Boston with the white tops and dark blue bottoms. The Breakers on the attack now is Ella Masser in the middle of that play to knock that away, and that one will go out of bounds. Be Chicago ball. Nice job there by Taryn Hemmings in the back line to win that one for the Red Stars. Kolupny unable to control that off the throw-in. Give it back to Boston. Heather O'Reilly will handle this. Now quickly as Kwan to steal that one away, send it back to midfield. Kat Whitehill for Boston as the Breakers lose possession. This is Noguera in the middle of the field.
You can see the Chicago Red Stars right away are putting high pressure on Boston.
Rings over to Jess McDonald on the far side of the field. McDonald now will give it back. Rings trying to find a runner, and she's got one in Weneno, who'll cross that. Nobody home. To get chased down over in the near corner by Kolupny. Kolupny against the end line will send that one back towards the box where it's gathered by Ashley Phillips. And goalkeeping, one of the things we'll keep an eye on for Boston is Ashley Phillips, one of 2 goalkeepers that's gotten significant playing time for the Breakers, and frankly, she struggled over the last 2 games for Boston. She's given up 7 goals and made just 5 saves in that time.
Yeah, and I actually had to get a clarification because I thought at the beginning of the season they were alternating back and forth with Ceci Santiago, but Lisa Cole confirmed with me that Ashley Phillips has been the number 1 since the beginning of the season. Ceci only played because Ashley had some commitments with her university, and Ceci did a great job coming in. Lisa Cole said she's still very pleased with her, but she's an 18-year-old, and even though she's played in a World Cup, she's still young. But Lisa Cole did say that she felt Ceci Santiago has exceeded their expectations. She just has room to grow. So Ashley's the number 1, and she'll continue to be the number 1, it looks like, from here on out.
May get challenged here. Here's Masser working back towards the center of the field. Thought she had Kwan a little higher up and didn't, and Boston able to take possession back. Schepfer will play this forward. In the midfield, that's Santa Catarina to win it back for Chicago briefly. Ball go out of bounds, and Weneno will have the throw-in along the far side for the home Red Stars. Foose will send that back towards McLeod. Chicago will switch up the field now. Hemmings will bring it up along the near sideline. Finds Masser. Kwan had Kolupny, and Kolupny couldn't stay on her feet, falls down, and Phillips out high in the box to beat Masser to the ball. A little unfortunate there for the Red Stars captain.
Yeah, she got tripped by the turf, but that was a good look by Kwan, a good run in behind by Kolupny.
Nice ball by Phillips. You can see the wind really going to have an effect on this game as well. There are some rain showers in the area. Do expect to potentially see some of those before the game is over, and the wind has really been picking up over the course of the last hour down on the field. met by 2 Red Stars, able to get it back to Kat Whitehill, who send it forward. She's got O'Reilly along the far sideline. O'Reilly works away about 15 yards out towards the middle. O'Reilly will put a shot on, and McLeod able to fall on that. So first shot of the game goes to the Breakers, but McLeod able to handle it easily.
That was smart by Heather O'Reilly to cut that inside. That's where she's very dangerous, and Kwan was just a little too far off or allowed her to get that shot off, but I don't think Heather O'Reilly was initially going inside to look for a shot. She wanted to try to combine on that play.
We are 5 minutes gone here, still scoreless in the first half. Hemmings will send that one towards the middle of the field, looking for Jess McDonald. Lohman able to possess briefly for Boston, but now Winnenow's going to win it back along the far side. Looking for Grings, wasn't able to connect with her. Boston will retain possession along the far side of the field.
Now, having Inka Grings, if those of you listening don't know who Inka Grings is, she's the all-time scorer for German national team. She's got the record for most goals in a season in the women's Bundesliga. She went and set the record in Zurich, in the Swiss league as well, and 10 years apart. So she's still in form. She's still dangerous. But she's someone who can add a different dimension to the Chicago attack, because before they didn't have a target forward. They didn't have someone they could play in to feet that could collect the ball, keep it, and then run off of. So this is going to help their entire attack. It's going to help the outside attackers, and it's going to help Lori Kolupny as well.
Schepfer for Boston. Now LaRue towards the center of the field. LaRue has that shot blocked by Hemmings. Mass are going to chase that one down along the near side. Grings, you could already see, going back to your point, Monica, made a big difference for Chicago in their win over Portland. So McLeod will send that one out.
She'll draw players to her. She's not a player who runs around the field a lot. She's not super active, but she knows when to move at the right time to be able to get the ball, and she can hold it. And that's the way Lori Kolupny likes to play. Lori doesn't like to be the one checking back and getting with back to goal. She wants to be playing forward. So if the Red Stars can try to find Inka Grings' feet, then you're going to see players like Ella Masser and Lori Kolupny running off of her, and that's going to allow them to attack going forward with numbers. And that's a very dangerous way to be able to attack, and something the Red Stars frankly haven't had.
Kolupny there was unable to control, so Wilkinson on the throw-in for Boston and controlling along the near sideline. Masser comes up to challenge, knocks that one out. It will remain with Boston as O'Reilly now will throw it in. Intercepted by Kwan. Kolupny got a little tangled up there with Wilkinson, but able to keep possession for Chicago. Red Stars have to send that one back as Sitch a little trouble staying on her feet. That was LaRue putting a chase in on McLeod and forcing her to once again send that one out of bounds. So a good job there by Sydney LaRue to keep the pressure up and force the goalkeeper to make a quick decision. LaRue among the league leaders in scoring in the NWSL. We're about a third of the way through the inaugural season of the NWSL, and LaRue with 5 goals on the year. Was tied for the league lead until Abby Wambach scored last night for Western New York to take that lead back, now with 6.
We've got a great competition going between the 3 United States national team attackers and Sydney LaRue, Alex Morgan, and Abby Wambach. You know they're competitive with each other.
Fun to watch for the rest of the season. Chicago now repossessing Wendeno. Kolupny to send that one forward. Now the Red Stars putting on a little bit of a chase. Boston back to defend, and they're going to watch that one walk all the way back to Phillips. As Chicago just not quite able to get through the back line there. Nogueira taken to the turf, and we'll have a foul whistled against Chicago.
I don't think Ella Masser made that foul on purpose, but it ended up being a better thing for Chicago that foul took place, because both Heather O'Reilly and Sydney LaRue were ready to go on that back line.
So it's a free kick for the Breakers, and Rachel Kwan able to get there, put a head on that ball, and avert some potential trouble as O'Reilly had snuck behind her. Here's that same matchup again. O'Reilly now double teamed with Masser, looking to force the turnover. Masser chasing it down in the corner and will send it out, averting a corner kick for Boston. It's still a dangerous area for the Red Stars defense right now. Weneno in and able to cut that off. Schepfer was looking for LaRue in the box, unable to connect on it. This will be Grings now with the throw-in.
That was some good gamesmanship there by Inka Grings. She basically just won her team a throw-in. Now they're off.
Masser unable to make that connection. Yeah, Grings didn't even look around for permission, did she? She just took control of that one.
That's called experience. Coaches said they're so pleased with her. You know, you get these two great players that you haven't had a chance to meet. So she said they weren't positive if both Sonia Foose and Inka were coming over because they wanted to get to know Chicago and just kind of hang out and play a little bit of soccer, but they've been consummate professionals since they got here, and the coaches couldn't be happier, the players couldn't be happier. I wouldn't be surprised if in the back of her mind Inka Grings is saying, I want to set the record for the NWSL most goals in a season, which I guess whoever gets the number one this season has the record going forward, but hey, it's not too late.
How much of an adjustment, Monica, does the rest of the team need to make to, you talk about professionals coming in, and that's a big adjustment for other players who haven't got a chance to play with them, as Masser now has the ball. Looking for somebody to make a run. Let Masser back towards the center. She'll cross the field now. It's Winterno who's made a move all the way up from the back line. Winterno along the far sideline, knocked off the ball. Nice job by the Boston defense to take that one right back.
And to answer your question, I think the response to that is different for both players because Sonia Foose has come in and become the general right away of this back line. So everyone has just stepped back and let her take over, and that's exactly what she's done.
Here's Kolupny now looking for a run. There's two players in the box. Ball knocked away by Phillips briefly. Red Star still on the attack. Phillips out of the box, and then the shot sent wide by Julianne Sitch. Good opportunity there for Chicago to create some havoc in the box, just unable to capitalize.
Nice job of Sitch getting into the attack. Jess McDonald staying with the play. Got themselves a great opportunity there.
A little bit of a dangerous play by Phillips, too, to come that far off the line with attackers coming in on both sides, and that goes back to, again, those goalkeeper issues that we've seen with Boston so far this season.
Yeah, typically they would say if you're a goalkeeper and you're going to come out like that, you make sure you hang on to the ball.
Chicago will maintain possession of that. Kwan looking to throw it in on the near side. Masser looks to send it right back to her. Taken back away by Lohman, and Boston will head the other way. Grings in there looking to dispossess, unable to do so as Noguera will send that up. Had O'Reilly, but she was offside, and that ball's going to go out of bounds anyway.
Yeah, and Heather was standing out there wide open for about 10 seconds waiting to get that service. She wanted that service sooner, and had Boston been able to get that into her, Kwan was tucked in just a little bit too far.
Kwan sends that one forward. No one there for Chicago. Kia McNeil was met by Grings. Taryn Hemmings chasing this one down for the Red Stars. Looking against LaRue, who's taken down to the turf. Hemmings wins the ball. Kwan has to get away from it quickly as LaRue was closing in.
Yeah, and even just that effort by LaRue to sprint in and put pressure on the defense made the defender play out a very poor clearance, in a sense allowing her team a better chance of winning the ball back. That's great effort by Sydney LaRue.
Here's LaRue on the ball again. Guarded closely that time by Sitch. Noguera draws a triple team in the middle, able to find Lohman. Kolupny will take it back now for Chicago. Kolupny knocked off the ball then by Kat Whitehill, who will keep that one live for Boston. But not quite able to connect with LaRue, who will watch that one head all the way back to McLeod. Hemmings sends that one forward, but a little off the mark, and you can see Mika Grings turning around and a little coaching on the field, perhaps?
She's done a little bit of that. I hear she lets players know when they don't play her the ball where she wants it. But, you know, she's at the beck and call of the services that she gets.
Boston with a chance sent high. That was Schepfer on the shot.
If they don't play her good, solid, driven balls into her feet or read her run the right way, she'll never get the ball and she won't be able to do what she does. So that's why it's a little bit more difficult for her to get integrated with the team than her German teammate Sonja Fuss, who can come in on the back line and become the general right away and basically just order everybody around to do what she wants, which is exactly what she said she's doing and exactly what the Chicago Red Stars needed. Everybody that talks about Sonja Fuss has said she's brought a calming presence to the team, a calming presence to the back line, and that's a pretty good quality to have.
Fans, a reminder, Tuesday, June 18th, U.S. Soccer invites you to come out to the Petrillo Bandshell in Grant Park, attend a free public viewing party of the U.S. men's national team match against Honduras. The match will be broadcast live on a giant screen at 8 p.m. Beginning at 4, U.S. Soccer, along with the Chicago Red Stars and Illinois Youth Soccer, will conduct a series of activities. That's all happening Tuesday, June 18th, part of the celebration of 100 years of U.S. Soccer. For more information, visit ussoccer.com. Red Stars excited to be part of that initiative, excited to be part of U.S. Soccer, along with the entire National Women's Soccer League. And Monica, as the broadcast goes on, that's one of the things I definitely want to get your feeling on is how women's soccer has evolved over the last decade plus now of professional leagues, and there have been a number of them in the United States, and how things have changed. We'll talk about that as the game goes on a little bit here.
We'll just say evolving is not a straight line. It's evolving, just not in a straight line. Mm-hmm.
This is Hemmings now for the Red Stars. Hemmings playing all the way up to midfield off the back line, and she's going to make a run. Grings back to Hemmings.
And that's okay, but Winino and Kwan need to tuck in.
Masser just missed on the connection there, and unlucky again for the Red Stars, as that was a nice run that Hemmings put on, and it had beaten her man there inside the box.
Hey, I have nothing against the center back going forward, and Jackie Santa Catarina did a great job holding when Taryn went forward, but that was a good play.
That's one of the coaching philosophies, really, that you talk to the Red Star staff, and one of their hallmarks, usually it's the outside mids, is the foul whistle against Chicago, that are going to play up and press, but even the center backs are going to get in on the action on the opposite side of the field from time to time, and that's the way the team wants it.
And I think it's something they lost by not having Lydia Vandenberg today, because she's a player that gets forward a lot. Rachel Kwan does get forward a lot. Winino not as much. Winino is more of a pure defender, a pure tackler, tough, and she doesn't really get forward that much. But Kwan is a player that I'd like to watch throughout the day today and see how much she does get into the attack, because the Chicago Red Stars have had to play so much defense this season. Kwan really hasn't had the opportunity to shine and do what she does best.
You're exactly right. You're talking about a team in Chicago that scoring goals and offensive chances in general have been a struggle for this year. Just 6 goals through 7 games so far, and that's why the changes have been made here on the offensive side. Here's McDonald now, intercepted in the middle by Boston. That's Played all the way through to the back line, and Winterno will send it back over to Hemmings.
That was a nice job by Chicago building that play up, going wide, trying to switch it to the other side, bringing it back out, but that final pass needs to be on. Needs to be more on target.
Lohman leaving it for Noguera, making a run along the near side for the Breakers now. Noguera looking for somebody open the middle of the field, couldn't find it, so she'll send it backwards. McNeil now. Center backs on both sides making runs. McDonald able to win that back for Chicago, and Winterno will send it ahead, but a little too far for Kolupny to be able to collect it in.
Yeah, that was one of the situations where Inka Grings could be justifiably frustrated because she was checking diagonally towards Winterno, wanted that ball driven on the ground, and Winterno played it up in the air over her head and just gave the ball back to Boston.
Lohman knocked down there by Griggs. We play on. Boston sends that one out of bounds. It will once again be Winterno over on the far side. 20 minutes gone in the first half. Chicago Red Stars and Boston Breakers from Lisle, Illinois, Benedictine University. Rob Coons, Monica Gonzalez, the former captain of the Mexican women's national team, former WUSA All-Star for these Boston Breakers. Happy to have you along on the webcast this afternoon as well from wherever you may be watching from. We're on the near side now for the Breakers. Wilkinson working against Masser, and Rand will retain possession for the visitor.
And Boston needs to try and find Leanne Sanderson. They haven't been finding her today, and the reason is Julianne Sitch. She has been all over Sanderson and hasn't even let her get the ball, get possession, do what she does. They know that Leanne Sanderson is the heart of the Boston Breakers attack. She's the player that's making things happen for the team, and they think if they can shut her down, that'll shut down the connection to LaRue and O'Reilly as well.
That's a great point, Monica. We're 22 minutes into this game, haven't even said Sanderson's name yet out there on the field, and with 7 assists, she leads the league right now, and you're absolutely right that their offense is pretty much dictated by her feet. So Julianne Sitch doing an outstanding job for Chicago right now, as we're going to have the whistle along the far side. Boston putting the ball back into play, trying to find LaRue. Instead, finds Chicago. Grings leaves that for McDonald. Wasn't quite able to get there in time. This is Sanderson now over to LaRue. Keeps that on the far side, and a nice job by Winterno to slide in there, intercept that pass, and keep it inbounds. McDonald briefly had it there. Sent up by Sitch. Grings looking to her right. Kolupny fought off well.
That's the kind of attack that Chicago is looking for, though. Julianne Sitch didn't even have to look up. Before she won that ball, she already knew where Grings was, played it to her first time. Grings wins it, turns around, tries to find Kolupny through 3 passes. Had they connected, Kolupny's off, gets a shot. That's the kind of attack that Chicago Red Stars want from here on out.
Really in a match that's been fairly even so far for the first 23 minutes, but the Red Stars definitely have had more opportunities on the offensive end, which a couple weeks ago when these two teams met, as there's a foul whistled late along the near sideline. It certainly wasn't the case. Boston was all over the offensive opportunities early and often in that game, so a lot has changed for Chicago over the last month, and the results starting to pay off here on the field.
Well, before they had one pillar in Lori Kolupny, and Lori Kolupny's had such a great season that everyone's figured her out, has been double teaming her, but now that they have Foose in the back line and Inka up front, teams can't focus on just Lori Kolupny.
Taryn Hemmings to take this free kick. She'll send it in the box. Big group there, way out It was Phillips to punch that out. Kwan now will send it back into the box. Masser heads it towards the center of the field. Winino controls. Now a shot put down by Santa Catarina that's blocked off, and Boston able to send it back the other way. Hemmings still controlling it at midfield for Chicago. That shot blocked by Schepfer.
And Erin McLeod was already about 30 yards off her line, so she got to that without a problem.
Attack forming again for the Red Stars. Kwan now will send this one back to Hemmings. Santa Catarina into the box looking for Masser. Instead, it's knocked out by Kia McNeil. Kolupny will chase it down for the Red Stars to maintain possession for Chicago. Winino found Kwan, who was unable to control it at her feet. She'll chase it back to about 35 yards out as Hemmings beats O'Reilly, and then a sliding stop made by Boston. Sitch maintaining possession. Sitch working her way to the corner of the box now. Sitch passes it to Kolupny, sends it in. Oh, it hits the bar, and there's the goal for Lori Kolupny, and the Red Stars get on the board first.
And that play started with Julianne Sitch. It started with her single-handedly winning a tackle, going forward. There was no support out there. I was just about to say Taryn Hemmings needs some support out wide, and Sitch just got up. Great run by Kolupny, great slashing run. Made it very easy for Sitch to just play her in forward in a one-time shot. Good stuff from the Chicago Red Stars.
And that shot, Boston's back line was so far off, that shot trickled its way towards the net. It seemed like it sat almost on the inline forever before it finally went into the net.
That's when you know things are going your way. The tides have changed.
That's absolutely right.
I had a chance to speak with Erin McLeod, and she said she felt at the beginning of the season every mistake they made, they were just getting punished for. And now they're still making mistakes, but they're making them farther up the field and where they're not getting punished for them as much. So she said the beginning of the season they really weren't down on themselves. There was never really a confidence problem. It was more of just frustration and we have stuff we got to work on. And one of those things was finishing opportunities.
So Kolupny with the goal in the 26th minute, putting Chicago on top, and also now becoming the team's leading scorer on the season. That's her third goal. First assist of the year for Julianne Sitch. There's a foul against Chicago there along the far line, so Boston with a kick that's headed backwards by Chicago, and Masser will chase that all the way down. This one will be headed the other way. Chicago will take control back. Sitch, before we get too far removed from that assist, a local product out of DePaul, and just off of the ability of our cameras to reach the shot, but there is actually a fire truck parked out behind the end line with the ladder raised up and a giant poster hanging off that says "We Heart Number 19" for Julianne Sitch. So a fan favorite here in Chicago, and for good reason, as she's showing off her ability to impact both ends of the field so far today.
Yeah, so far for me, she's the player of the match. No, there's a long way to go, but she's been incredible so far.
Chicago with one in already, looking for a second. Here's Kwan. Finds Santa Catarina. Crossing from the end line, and that's intercepted by the defense and sent off by McNeil. A collision about 25 yards off as Ella Masser is still holding her head. She and Katie Schepfer collided, and I have to be honest, I didn't exactly see what happened there, but Masser a little shaken up. Talk about another player that's a fan favorite. Ella Masser has been a Chicago Red Star for years and years, dating back to the WPS days.
And she was a fan favorite back at the beginning. She was a fan favorite since 2009. She's just a player who gives all her heart every single second that she's on the field.
And beyond that, one who's always willing to take time off the field for all the fans. She'll be the last one out on the field signing autographs at the end of the game. And she's got a throw in here along the near sideline. Chicago stacking back towards the near corner of the box again. Found the head of McDonald. Boston able to knock it down briefly, though. Sitch going to chase that one down inbounds along the far side. Now towards the corner, sends a cross that's headed towards the middle of the field. Lohman got ahead on it for Boston. Chicago still with possession now as Winino tackled by Lohman, and finally a late whistle coming in. The foul's going to get whistled against Chicago.
And this is something Chicago wants to do. Now that they have Inka Grings, who's someone who just knows how to finish in the box, they need to get services into her. So even though that was Winino outside that got that ball, she needs help out there. It's a lot easier to combine down the inline than it is to try to beat everybody 1v1. A 1-2 is a little bit easier than having to make a fancy move and get by somebody. So she can get help out there, and the Red Stars can try to get the ball to the inline and get services. That's ideally what they want.
So we have a whistle on the stoppage in action once again. Gives us time to remind you that Heartland Chiropractic and Sports Injury Clinic is proud to be returning in 2013 as the official chiropractor of the Chicago Red Stars. Specializing in the chiropractic treatment of sports injuries, Heartland Chiropractic in East Moline also serves as the official chiropractor for the Quad Cities River Bandits, Quad City Mallards, and Quad City Rollers. Chicago Red Stars thank Heartland Chiropractic and Robert Smith for their ongoing support. Chicago back in control of things now. We're in the 31st minute. It's 1-0 Red Stars. It's now O'Reilly putting some pressure on the back line. McLeod also feeling that pressure, but able to get the ball up to Masser. It snuck past Wilkinson along the near line. This is Grings now. Over to Santa Catarina. On the far line, Winino will send that cross harmlessly out of bounds.
And that whole far side was just wide open when Inka Grings came over to the near side, played it across out to Winino. That's a service that needs to be on somebody's head.
Reminder for you watching at home, if you've got questions, we are monitoring at Chicago Red Stars on Twitter today. We'll do our best to get some of those questions into the broadcast and provide what answers we have. You got questions about the Red Stars, about Boston, questions for Monica Gonzalez, get them all to us at Chicago Red Stars on Twitter. Riley sends that one forward, but Hemming's there to intercept for Chicago. Red Stars will play this all the way back. Bruce will send it back to McLeod. Kwan's going to take a minute to adjust underneath that one. Now back to Hemmings. In between two defenders, Red Stars keep possession of it. Nice play by Grings to get it back to Masser. Masser has Grings just to her left. She'll find her. Now the give back. Working her way into the corner of the box on the inline. Masser with the cross. Sails all the way across the field. Winino's there wide open. Winino, high shot, sails over the bar.
Like I said, the combination on the outside, that's the way to get to the inline. They used Inka Grings there. That was a great job by Ella Masser to get that cross in. Great cross with her left foot, and Winino, as we say in Spanish, tache. That's all I'll say. She wants that one back.
She had time.
She had time. She could have kept that a little bit lower. But as an outside back as well, the fact she's in the box, that's a positive.
She has been playing all over the field today. Michelle Winino been up and down that far sideline for the Red Stars. Schepfer will send that one well past the ability of anyone to get to it. Sanderson, the intended target, couldn't catch up to it. Cloud will reset things for Chicago. Red Stars still possessing along the far side. Here comes Kolupny. Gets it down onto her right foot. Nice job by Lori Kolupny to control that one. Now looking for Winino on the far side. Winino had to get up there quickly. Tried to send it into Grings, and it was intercepted. Heading back the other way, Boston. LaRue slides and keeps possession.
And that's the opportunity Boston's looking for, the counterattack. Rachel Kwan got caught up and Katie Sheffer was wide open there if LaRue could have got her that ball. That's what Boston wants to do. They want to trap, win it back, and then look to counter.
Sitch shut that down for Chicago. Got to Grings, who's now triple teamed, loses possession of it. LaRue now again in the middle of the field will send that one back. McNeil. Chicago able to intercept that once again. So Monica, as we approach the last 10 minutes of the half now, Chicago already 1 goal on the board. What's the strategy here to get a second?
Well, first of all, they have no need to push the tempo.
This could help them right away. Kolupny with the interception sends that shot in, but Phillips able to gather that.
Yeah, so the fact you see Chicago playing it around the back, even trying to get it forward, drop it back again, play it across, they have no need to try to push and force a second goal, but they can definitely try to build the attack the way that they want to.
Got a whistle and a stoppage of play briefly as Mariah Nogueira down on the turf, now back up.
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, if I were Chicago, I definitely wouldn't be happy with the 1-0 lead. They are going to look to try to get a few more goals before this one is over because they know how dangerous Boston is.
Scoring goals has not been a problem for the Breakers this season. O'Reilly just unable to control that as it trickles over the end line out of bounds, and we'll have a goal kick for Aaron McLeod and the Red Stars. The Illinois Women's Soccer League. Since 1974, the IWSL has provided soccer opportunities to females of all ages. Today, we get to see them compete at the highest level. The IWSL is a proud partner of the Chicago Red Stars. Chicago will keep possession along the far sideline here. That throw in a little rushed by Grings right to the defender. The Red Stars will have the ability to win it back. Crossing the field now is Kwan. Kwan dribbles around a defender, finds Masser on the left. Masser just at the edge of the box. Masser will cross that in, and it's headed out. Able to keep control of it briefly is Sitch, and then Boston wins it back. But once again, a good job by the Breakers' back line. Collapsing on the threat right in the center of the box. Battle still going here along the far end line. McDonald now to Kolupny. Kolupny just kind of mistimed that pass, and it slid off the foot. LaRue isn't going to be able to chase that one down in time, so McLeod keeps possession for Chicago. Sitch sent that one forward, looking for McDonald, a little bit beyond her reach. Kolupny dispossesses again for Chicago. Back and forth in the midfield. Now Santa Catarina had some time. She'll cross that over to the left side. Kwan will chase it down right at midfield.
And before Kwan even gets that ball, Masser needs to be all the way out to the touchline because that way she can stretch the Boston defense and give Inka Grings a better opportunity to try to get the ball as well. Give Rachel Kwan some more options.
That time Chicago was sending Grings wide as Masser switched over to the middle and wasn't able to come up with that pass. So O'Reilly and Wilkinson playing it back and forth along the near line. Bad pass there. Kwan able to capitalize for Chicago. Kolupny, center of the field. Round one defender. Kat Whitehill will steal it back, though, for the Breakers. Now O'Reilly to the center of the field, looking for Sanderson. Got it on her foot. Chicago defense collapses. Hemmings able to kick that one backwards briefly, but Sanderson still has possession and time, and then a shot off the mark by Schepfer.
And that
had LaRue over there on the left side.
And that was the most action that we've seen by Leanne Sanderson so far today, and she was able to get the ball because Julianne Sitch got caught up in the attack. But we just really haven't called her name as much as we thought we would. She's the player I was really looking forward to watching today. She's the player I thought could just be a difference maker for Boston, and Sitch has just shut that down.
Instead, it's really been Shepfer that's had probably the best offensive opportunities for the visitors. LaRue has had an opportunity or two to make a play, but hasn't really been able to create any sort of dangerous opportunity. Whitehill finds O'Reilly. Surveying, sends that one towards the center of the field, looking for LaRue, and Winino able to head it over the former UCLA star. She'll chase it down, find Lohman. Boston plays it back and out of bounds. The National Women's Soccer League is celebrating its inaugural season. Visit NWSLsoccer.com for all of your updated league information, team standings, and more. That's NWSLsoccer.com. Visit the official NWSL jersey from your favorite team at the NWSLshop.com. Gear up today for the inaugural season.
Also, if you missed it at the beginning of our show, Ella Masser and Carmelina Moscato have a show. It's like their little reality show. They're just two silly girls, and we're going to be showing that again at halftime. So stick around and make sure you watch that.
The Ella and Carm Show, weekly on the Chicago Red Stars website. Good entertainment, always a lot of special guests, a lot of fun. Learn some new things about some of the members of the Red Stars.
Yeah, they've got special guests Leslie Osborne and Taylor Vansel this week.
Taylor Vansel, someone we haven't really had a chance to talk about, is McLeod back in goal for the Red Stars today, but Taylor Vansel played very well in 2 games for Chicago. Picked up the first win of the season for the Red Stars, the first clean sheet of the season for the Red Stars. Very talented goalkeeper.
And she came in and did exactly what a backup keeper is supposed to do and more.
This is Sanderson, now double teamed along the end line. Winino wins that and then sends it out of bounds, so Boston will maintain possession. Be Julie King to throw the ball in. She finds Sanderson again. Sanderson towards the center of the field looking for Lohman, gets ahead on it towards O'Reilly, unable to capitalize. Sanderson, LaRue, and easily corralled by McLeod. It's really one of the best opportunities Boston's had to set up any sort of offense all day and still not able to get a very good shot off.
The Chicago Red Stars back line's been very tough. Midfield's been defending very well.
Winino once again up at midfield, finds McDonald. As we close in towards halftime, Chicago looking for another offensive chance. McLeod way up at the top of the box. She'll let that come to her. Thought about firing that off to Kwan and then saw O'Reilly sneaking over towards the near sideline. Instead, Hemmings will have it up the center of the field. Red Stars finally just maintaining possession right now. Kwan now start to move into the attacking side.
And Kwan had so much space there when she got the ball. I would have liked to see her first touch be positive. Her first touch into that space, attack quicker, try to get the ball forward quicker, and her teammates will have more time on the ball.
You saw Kwan and Masser, a little miscommunication there, allowed that ball to go straight back to Boston. Then the Breakers unable to gain any form of possession, so Chicago will do it all over again. Hemmings towards the center of the field. Kia McNeil able to get there for Boston. Now Rhiannon Wilkinson will have the throw in. 44th minute of play here in the first half. situation there for Chicago as Katie Schepfer closed in a hurry and blocked Hemming's kick. Vaughn will control it on the near sideline. A short pass to Masser, now sending it up. Kia McNeil jumps in front of it but kicks it out of bounds. That time you saw Grings willing to point that out on the sideline. Earlier in the game, maybe not as much.
Well, that one was pretty obvious to me.
It was obvious to everyone, possibly but Kia McNeil. McNeil and Masser in a foot race now down the near sideline. The defender wins it. Possession will go to Boston. Did not see any stoppage time get signaled in from the sideline, so we may be closing in here as we got a whistle, and Masser once again slow to get up. Ellen Masser is involved in more fouls, gets banged up more, I think, than any other player on the Red Stars roster.
Well, I think she epitomizes what the Chicago Red Stars stand for and what they want to stand for. Rory Dames has made it clear that grit is a non-negotiable quality of all the players on this team. It's what Chicago's known for. It's a blue-collar city, and that's what this team needs to be known for. Hard-working players, making hard runs, making hard tackles, doing what you're supposed to do every single day, and that's what Ella Masser does.
There was 1 minute of stoppage time added to the first half as play continues here. I don't know. Booms that one out of bounds. One last chance here potentially for Boston. Try to find an equalizer before heading into the locker room. It's going to be LaRue to throw it in towards the center of the field. A pair of defenders collapse. Foose got there first. LaRue still towards the center of the field. Nobody there for Boston at all. And that ball's just going to drift all the way across the field and out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for the Red Stars.
And when you see Inka Grings back in the midfield, that means she's frustrated because she's not getting the ball. So she's trying to drop back even farther to try to make it easier for her teammates to get her the ball. We don't want to see Inka Grings in the midfield. Chicago doesn't want to see her in the midfield. They want to see her up high, and we'll see if they make that adjustment for the second half.
What Chicago does want to see is a 1-0 lead as we head into halftime. It is all Red Stars here in the first half. Lori Kolupny from Julianne Sitch, the goal in the 26th minute, is your score to put Chicago up 1-0 halftime again here at Benedictine University. We will take a break to bring you the Ella and Carm show, as previously mentioned, and we'll be back in time for the second half. This is Chicago Red Stars Soccer.
All right, and welcome back to the Carmenella Show. We are here on week 4, is it now?
Yeah, Epi 4.
Epi 4. So we're back with some special guests, and as you guys know, we typically dress like our, like the teammates that we bring on. So I don't know if it's obvious. It is obvious to us. Of course, we see her every day, but we have a special guest named, what's her name again?
Leslie Osborne.
That's the one.
You know what? And the best part about this is that she has no idea what she's getting herself into because... Has she watched our show yet?
I said, you're on the Carmenella Show. She said, what's that?
Yeah,
so,
she hasn't been involved yet.
It's a bit new for her, so
and then
she's
we
up
have
for a treat.
Somebody else joining us as well.
That's right. Her name is Taylor Vel. She is basically a youngin on the team who has done an incredible, a rookie. We call her Rook, right?
Yeah.
She's done an incredible job. The last 2 games has really done a good job for this team. The reason we brought them on together, to be honest, is because they have a very interesting dynamic, which you'll get to experience. So we're looking forward to that, and hopefully the show will be as entertaining as the last few.
Yeah, and I don't know. I know you were gone last week.
I was. Yeah.
So we played, right? Obviously, you watched the game.
Totally.
And there was this thing that happened on Twitter, and somehow the royal family got out. And that's fine. Thank you so much. But the thing was that somebody was talking about getting knighted.
Who?
Yeah. So I got like probably 10 or 15 things about being knighted.
Oh, the peasant being knighted. That's not going to happen. I mean, no amount of kind gestures will get you to that point.
Next week,
so
stay
next
tuned,
week,
maybe.
Probably not. Thanks anyway. But on we get to the interviews. What do you think? Yeah?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Welcome back. Obviously, our guests that have joined us. Give a round of
Hello, guys.
applause.
Woo! Welcome. Welcome to our wonderful show.
Yeah.
If you have time, actually, before we start, these glasses are basically showing how Leslie lives her life in every day. This is Leslie in a nutshell, right? So if you guys don't mind, go ahead and put these on.
Sum it
For
up.
the rest of the interview.
Okay.
We're gonna.
do I?
You as well, please.
Okay.
It's more for you than anyone. So.
Jordan Club.
Thank you, Leslie, and go on, Alice. Sorry to
Okay.
interrupt.
Oh, no, you're good. All right, so today we're going to ask them each 3 questions, give or take, and then we have a fun little game to play, and
That's
then
it.
we have 2 bonus rounds. It's going to be a good one.
That's gonna be a very good show.
Act like
Yeah.
you're excited.
I am so excited. I
Again,
can't
she
wait
has,
for your
she
first
has no
question.
idea about the
Who
show
would like to
anyway.
go?
So.
Who'd like to go first?
Leslie's all over it.
Okay. Last.
Thanks, Taylor. Such a gentle.
First question. Now, this was, a lot of people helped us with these questions.
Oh, good.
So,
I
okay.
hope
Number
Darren
1.
and Rory were part of this.
So what would you say is your favorite nickname? I'm going to give you 3 choices. Okay. Number 1, Ozzy. Number 2, Lester. And number 3, Les. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
My favorite would be Ozzy out of that.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll just go with it.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
All right, Con, you're up.
Yeah, next question. So we know that you're super passionate about soccer, but you have a lot more to you, of course. So if you don't mind sharing with people some of your other passions, and I know you basically do something on a daily basis that I think a lot of people would be interested in knowing about. So what would that be? Yeah.
That would be it.
Well, for fun, I'm a yogi. I do yoga every day. It's called Core Power Yoga, and I go every day.
Yes.
And all my teammates know what time I go.
6:15.
We have to actually hurry this up
Yeah.
to get,
Yeah. So I'm already thinking about how I can't be late.
Okay.
You gotta hurry up because she's gotta go to yoga. But
Yeah.
what do you like about it? Why do you go?
I started about 2 years ago to help my body. I've had a lot of surgeries, and I've been encouraged to do it and start it, and I finally did. And it helps my head and it helps my body, and it's a daily routine, and I love it.
Good outlet. Excellent. Really nice. All right. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm sure you're welcome.
Yeah, it's so cool. One more for you then.
Okay.
one more. You're very special. Very.
Thanks.
Can we say your outfit though first? Could you stand up and show us your outfit just to see if we got it correctly?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, let's see if we got
We
it.
didn't actually tell her we were going to
No.
do this. I should be in a tank top, but hey, this is
is
when it's
nice.
a little cooler. Anyway, so she wore this without us knowing that
Yeah.
she was going to wear this. So we're pretty spot on about Leslie. Thank you.
A+ for us. Okay, if you had to describe how exactly you eat your bagels. We have a picture coming live shortly,
good.
okay?
Oh, good. Did
We
we
tried to
see
get a
the
bagel,
picture?
but we didn't get to find one. So if you had to just describe, let's say in 3 key points.
Okay. I like crusty,
That's quotable.
hard,
Okay. No, how you eat it. Rewind.
because
one
I
more.
like crusty and things. I
Yeah.
like to eat the outside. So I usually eat the outside of a bagel, the outside of a donut hole, the crust off the pizza. That's what I do.
Again, we'll send you a picture.
We'll send you a
guys.
picture. It's
That's
not, it's
gonna
not
be-
like anything I've
not
ever
that
seen
weird.
before.
It's
No,
not that weird.
I'm not saying, no.
No,
It's
It could-
normal.
it could be worse.
You're right. It could be a lot worse,
Yeah.
honestly. You have
Yeah.
nothing to worry about. So,
Thanks, Con.
you're welcome. So, Taylor, we'll move on to you.
Great. Oh, yeah,
You
okay.
have the first one.
So you've been with Rory since you were about 12, which goes about 10 years now.
Yeah.
So could you say the biggest difference from when he coached you then, or the 10 years, if he's changed, if you still love him as much now as you did then?
Or more.
Or
I mean,
more,
that's
yeah.
possible.
One with love, and both like.
Okay. Good start.
Yeah. No, I think he's gotten a little bit nicer with age.
Wow.
Definitely. Not as
Missed
much of the running nightmares and everything that we used to do when we were younger.
Okay.
But, that might be an age thing.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, Rory's just Rory.
Good.
Excellent.
Unique.
Yeah.
Someone
That's
say
a good
unique. There it is.
Okay, so on the topic of unique, so why don't you go ahead and tell us some of the things you like to do in your off time?
Baking, cooking, drawing,
Okay.
painting.
Oh yeah, she does do little characters, the cartoons.
Yeah, I can draw.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I a nannying job, which is awesome. So
Yes.
it takes up a lot of time.
If you weren't playing soccer, what is something that you would choose to do with your time?
Oh. If I wasn't playing soccer,
You
no,
make candles.
yeah.
Candles,
There it is.
That's
what I do.
That's good. You did it once, maybe you can do it again. I think that would be pretty
Why
cool.
not?
All right, well, good. We have a little fun game for you guys as well, okay? So,
You gotta turn your brain on. You guys
gotta turn your
ready.
brain
Oh,
on.
okay.
This is a bit of rapid fire. I'll give you a bit of background. So you have to just finish the sentence, okay?
They're like common sayings.
These are cliches.
Yeah.
Cliches. Got a bit of inside information. This isn't Leslie's strong point, so
And we're hoping Taylor
Pretty
steps
sure-
up to the bar.
I'm pretty sure she's messed up more than she's got right. So
Where's
here-
Karen? I'm here to tell me.
I wouldn't call Taryn in a moment because she's the one who actually suggested it. So.
That wasn't me.
Taryn Vel.
Taylor Vel. We're gonna, if you don't mind. So sticks and stones will break your bones, but
Words would never hurt me.
yeah, that's
Very
great.
good.
All right,
Are
she
you
nailed
sure
it.
that's right?
Yes, that's right.
Guys, we're not acting like this in real life. So the next one here. The early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse.
This is for you, Les.
Me?
Yeah.
That was for
For
Taylor.
Taylor, for Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
the
know.
second mouse
I don't know. Gets the cheese.
gets the cheese. Got it. Well done. Okay. Well, Leslie, you're next.
Okay. Les, there's just 2 blanks, so there's just 2 words you have to add into this one,
Yes.
okay?
See if she knows
People in a glass house shouldn't blank blank.
it. Okay, go on. Then maybe just give it to her.
Okay, throw, and then what's the last one?
People in glass house shouldn't throw balls.
Bricks or stones?
Bricks or stones? You know,
Balls and then get it right
also break the glass as well. It would.
Okay,
would.
good.
Okay,
Thanks for that one.
Yeah.
here's another one. Don't count your chickens
Before
before.
they hatch.
There it is.
Excellent. Very good. All right.
The reason we call these 2 on, they're 2 exceptional people, but they have a very unique, they have a very interesting relationship. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch roles.
Yes.
So Leslie, I want you to act how Taylor acts towards you, and then Taylor, I want you to act how Leslie acts for you.
Oh, I can nail this.
Taylor's ready. I think she does it actually on her own time
Yes.
when nobody asks her.
Yeah.
So why don't you let's
Go
show
ahead,
everybody your
you
dynamic?
guys take over.
You're so annoying.
I love you too, Leslie.
That's pretty much it. Just
Okay,
tell everybody
okay.
what this is. This is the root of this.
She's a bully.
Can we tell Can you just tell us how it started, that first
Yeah.
practice, when somebody...
Well, it started before that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's just when it came out.
Okay.
Bully rookie.
Right.
We're playing.
Right.
5v5. You know, I'm
Yeah.
delicate, I'm a veteran, I'm a little old already. I'm playing, the ball's up in there coming to me, I'm about to flick it on and like score a goal, and she pushes me from behind.
Really?
And it could have hurt, you know, it kind of hurt, but it scared me, and I was like,
What was your reaction?
I said, Taylor, you can't do that.
Well, your dinosaur butt wasn't in the way.
The bonus question is this. As Leslie said, her passion is yoga. So, whoever can tell me, you can pick any pose you want,
Any pose.
and whoever can name this pose,
Gets
gets the free ticket. So whoever
pretty
can
good,
watch
huh?
this video, tell me what pose she's doing, gets the 2 tickets for the game this Sunday, 3 o'clock versus Boston. Big game.
Well, thank you guys for your time and your energy and your banter. That was quite honest. Expected a little bit more than we had hoped for, but you guys take it off the field a little bit too, which is good. So, anyways, long story short, let's join us next week for, well, when's the next time we'll be back?
We're in Kansas City
Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas City. So hopefully, next week.
Next week. Okay, let's go ahead and vote and see, who you guys would like on the show next, and we'll go from there. So, thank you guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Halftime for the Chicago Red Stars. It's the team enjoying a 1-0 lead over the Boston Breakers. Here from the Benedictine University Sports Complex in Lisle, Illinois, Rob Coons and Monica Gonzalez with you on the Chicago Red Stars broadcast, and happy to have you along on this Sunday afternoon as well. Monica, let's talk about some of the adjustments that you would be making right now if you were in the locker room. Let's start with the Red Stars, and how would you be keeping that attack going and keeping those defensive changes intact for the Red Stars?
Well, I think defensively they're doing an excellent job. I think they've shut down Boston. They've done a wonderful job shutting down Leanne Sanderson, who's a player that no team has been able to shut down so far this season. But offensively, I still think that they can do better. I think they need to keep Inca Grings as high as possible. So in order to do that, they've got to keep her happy. They need to get the ball to her feet, find the way to get the ball to her feet. I think it'll help if the other two attacking players, Masser and McDonald, try to stay a little bit wider, and the outside backs can come forward. Kwan can still get forward more quickly. She's good at doing that. She's good at getting into the attack, and just find Inca Grings sooner. I think that's going to be a big difference maker for Chicago.
On the flip side for Boston, a team that really didn't have many offensive chances at all until very late in that half, they've got to find a way to get their big names loose and running up top.
Right, and Boston typically isn't a team that uses their outside backs to attack much. But I would have them try to do that because they need to pull out the Chicago Red Stars defense. And with Leanne Sanderson being marked so well by Julianne Sitch, I would almost just pull her out of the midfield. Just have her make runs all the way to the right. Have her make runs all the way to the left. Have her make runs back into the defensive midfielder position and let Lohman go forward. Let Nagara go forward. And that'll pull Sitch out of position and leave a hole in behind where they could possibly do some damage.
You mentioned Leanne Sanderson, Joanna Lohman, and those are two players for Boston, obviously teaming up on the field, but off the field as well. They've come together and have a really interesting and cool initiative that they've started together.
Yeah, a lot of people have talked about it. Their academy, Jolie Academy, they're awesome. These two girls are awesome. I'm such their fans, and I haven't had the opportunity to meet them in person, but if you get the opportunity, go on Twitter and follow them at Jolie Academy, Joli Academy, and what they've done is they went to India for 2 weeks, and they held a soccer tournament, which is something that's very difficult to do, but it's basically using soccer as a vehicle for social change, for empowerment of women. And their motto is that if you can empower one girl, you can empower a nation. And that's powerful stuff, and kudos to those two girls for what they do.
It's a cause that, to many ways, near and dear to your heart as well, as you've been involved in some similar things. Tell us about your initiative with Gonzo Soccer.
Well, my academy is actually co-founded by Elise LeHue, who is the Chicago Red Stars general manager. So the two of us got together and started inner city after-school soccer program here in Chicago while I was here in 2009, and we've kept it up and running. It's good to see that there are a lot of female soccer players kind of into this, and I think just having the opportunity to coach. My office was 2 doors down from where we're standing right now. I coached here at Benedictine. I ended up not making the Red Stars, but was coaching here and coaching at Chicago Fire Juniors. And I think just with youth soccer these days, in a way, it's scary because I think it's going in the wrong direction and how expensive it is. And I think we're leaving out a lot of players with a lot of potential. So that's all I try to do. I can't be in every city right now, but I've got academies in 4 cities in the United States, 3 in Texas, 2 here in Illinois, Tijuana, Colombia. Just started one in San Andreas, Colombia. So we're doing what we can, but it was kind of like my consolation prize for not making the Chicago Red Stars back in 2009. It was what happened instead of me playing pro. But I've been close to this Chicago Red Stars team and a fan of the way that they operate and the way that they do business. I remember back in 2009, they were the first team that had their logo up, the first team, the WPS, that had their website up, and just thought, wow, this club really has it together. I'd love to be a part of that program one day.
Halftime, once again, at Chicago Red Stars 1, Boston Breakers nothing. Rob Coons, Monica Gonzalez with you on the Chicago Red Stars website. And happy to be joined in the booth now, if we can go ahead and bring you in, by one of the all-time greats for the U.S. women's national team, and Shannon Boxx, current member of the Chicago Red Stars, 3-time Olympic gold medalist. Shannon, thank you for taking a few minutes to join us up here. I know you'd rather be out on the field, and I think that's the first thing
Yes.
we got to ask you. You're coming off of knee surgery a couple weeks ago. How's your health, and how soon are you looking to potentially get back on the field?
Yeah, definitely would love to be out there, especially now. Obviously, one up on the Boston team is pretty cool. But injury's going well. I feel like I'm getting stronger every day. Just want to make sure that I'm 100% before I jump back out here. A couple weeks more, maybe. We're at 5-6 weeks, so I'm hoping maybe 8-9 weeks, and we can get back in there.
Let's talk about the first half, and I imagine you had a chance to get down in the locker room during halftime and hear from the coaches. Obviously, having that 1-goal lead is good. You'd like to have even more on the board right now. What were the coaches saying in the locker room?
I think overall the coaches were happy with the first half. I think the first 15 minutes were a little bit chaotic. It took a little bit of time to find those pockets. Boston's playing a 4-3-3, and you're starting to realize there's pockets behind their front three. I think once the team found that, we started breaking their pressure. I think the three up top were trying to pressure our back line, and you started to see that we were breaking that pressure, and then that was leading to our attack. So I think once they found that, we started to find that we were getting, crosses in the box and having chances, and Choops' goal was great. That's just the work rate that she has every single game.
Shannon, can you talk a little bit about what the two new German additions have meant to this team, and just kind of even in practices, just how have they changed the face of the Chicago Red Stars?
Number one is just the experience that they both have. I think that when they're out at practice, they're, for having English as their second language, they're not shy about coming up to players, giving instructions, helping the younger players out on where they should be and what they expect of them. So that's number one. Number two, you see it out on the field today. Sonia in the back just has this presence of calming the team down. She starts our attack. You see her dribbling up the field, committing one of their defenders, and then laying the ball off, and that's breaking our pressure. So she's come in and just has this role back there of starting our attack. And then obviously on the defending side, she has our team very, very organized. Inca, I think, scares other teams. I think she's a player that you have to respect, and I think we can get her more involved. We haven't figured that out yet, and I think the more she plays with this team, she's going to start to understand their tendencies, and we're going to understand her tendencies and be able to get her more into the attack, because I think she can be a lot more dangerous than she has been so far.
Just about set to get the second half underway here at Benedictine University. Shannon, a couple more questions while we've got you with us. One of the other new additions to the Red Stars in the last couple of weeks has been Jen Hoy, who was a draft pick of Chicago back in the draft happened a few months ago, and then stayed at Princeton where she was an undergraduate, wanted to graduate, and has now joined the team. And whenever we talk to everyone about Jen, everyone says speed, speed, speed. What have you seen from her, and how much of a difference can she make once we finally get to see her on the field?
That's definitely what I've seen. Just being out here this week at practice, just an energy too. It's not just speed. It's an energy of wanting to get the ball, wanting to get behind the back line, and she can score goals. That's what's been great is we had a scrimmage game, and I think she scored 2 goals on the non-starting team. So I think that is something that we don't have. Even with Inca, I don't think her speed is what we're getting. It's her skill and her technical ability, but we don't really have that speed up top. We have it with Jess, but I think that's something Jen could maybe come off the bench, and teams are going to have to worry about her.
Nice play early there by Ella Masser to win the ball for Chicago and have a throw-in down along the far side. One of the things we talked about a little bit in the first half, and I'd like to get into with both of you in the booth with us right now, is it probably can't accomplish everything we'd like to talk about in 45 minutes even, but just kind of the development of the professional game in the United States and where we've come maybe over the last decade is Lauren Kolupny fighting for the ball in the box, and that's going to go over the end line back to Boston. But Shannon, you're one of just a few people who really played in all 3 of the professional leagues in the United States. And how far has this sport come, and how far does it still need to come to become a truly successful professional league?
Well, I think initially you just look at, the quality of the international side of it first, I think, because you're starting to see that there's more than just 1 or 2 teams that are dominating now. being a part of the U.S. and then being part of Mexico, I mean, you're starting to see that there's the French team, there's the, you know, the Brazilians have always been there, the Germans have always been there, but Sweden, I mean, so you're starting to see that, and then now it's starting to come to the professional level. And yes, we're in our third league, but I think that we're figuring it out each time a little bit better, and I think that the start of this league is probably where maybe other leagues should have started. You know, slowly bringing respect to this league. We need to keep bringing more fans out here somehow. So we need to find that, I think, next.
Boston working the ball in towards the box. Center now looking for LaRue, who's able to get a head on it, but not anything dangerous, and Chicago will clear that back out. Other than maybe the obvious with the involvement of the U.S. Federation, the other North American federations, what's the biggest difference in this league that gives you optimism for the future of it?
I think starting a little bit smaller. You know, I think that we've come out and said, okay, you know what? We're not going to get 10, 12,000 fans right away. We're going to get 5 or we're going to get 3. And I think starting with that and realizing, okay, we're going to start a little bit slower. We're not going to pay players as much. I mean, I think that we're being more cautious of how much we spend. But, you know, again, though, you still need to make sure that you're getting quality players. So I think there's that little balance that we have to figure out, and I think that it's better this time around than the previous 2 leagues.
Can you remember back to the WSA, even back to the WPS, just like differences as far as the level? Do you think tactically, technically, I know it's difficult when your perspective changes because you're growing and evolving as well, but what would you say are the differences between the 3 leagues with respect to on-field stuff?
I think that this one's starting a little bit as far as the overall quality. I mean, we're not getting, you know, we decided that. We decided before this one started that maybe we're not going to go for a lot of international players initially. We're going to start with our American players and build from there. So the WSA, I mean, we had a lot of quality in that. I actually think the first year of the WPS was my hardest year. When I was playing on the field, I was exhausted every single game. So I really loved the way that felt. As the years kind of progressed, it got less and less. And now this, you're starting to see the first couple games, I think the quality was a little bit down and a little bit less, but now they're figuring it out. And that's what I love about this league is you're starting to see that teams are gelling together. The quality is getting better as the year goes on.
Yeah, I feel like this league the players have gelled sooner because I remember when the WPS first started, some of those games were really rough to watch at the beginning, and it was just because there hadn't been a pro league in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that as far as quality goes, and just from my vantage point as a fan, that the girls have done a fantastic job, and that goes to coaching staff and everyone as well, to get gelled quickly and really put a good product out on the field.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, U.S. Soccer, at least this time around, was saying that we want to make sure that there's enough equality through the teams that every game is tough and every game is difficult to play, and you're seeing that in the numbers. You know, you're seeing that in the scores, and that they're all close games. You know, yeah, Portland is kind of getting those points above, but everybody else is within a distance that the rankings can change every single week. That's kind of fun to see.
Good play there as we get back to the action briefly. Michelle Winino to chase that one down and not allow Sydney LaRue the opportunity to get in there, but we all have a corner coming for the Breakers. Shannon, we don't want to keep you up here too long, but we definitely appreciate your insight.
My pleasure.
Look forward to seeing you back on the field as soon as possible for the Chicago Red Stars.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Shannon. We missed you. Take care of your knee. Everybody wants to see you back on the field soon.
Corner coming in from Shepard. She'll send that one long, headed back towards the box. Whitehill chases that down along the far side. Now tries to get it back in. Winino with the play to flip that one off. And McLeod able to snatch it out of the air and grab it for the Red Stars. So again, thanks to Shannon Boxx for being willing to join us for a few minutes here in the booth and share some insights. Always great to hear from one of the true greats of the game.
Yeah, she's a gem of a person, gem of a player. We went to college together. I don't know if she remembers me, though.
I think she probably does. He was very successful at Notre Dame there as Gring is in the box, and a shot just wide. Kalupi would love to have another crack at that one. Chicago continuing to make chances. in the offensive zone, and they've come up with one so far. Fans, a reminder, you can stay updated on all the latest Chicago Red Stars news by becoming a fan on Facebook, facebook.com/Chicago Red Stars, or by following us on Twitter @Chicago Red Stars. And thanks to those of you who have been doing that along the game broadcast today. We promised we're going to get some of your questions in, and we're going to try to do that here as we move along in the second half. Several of you have asked about when the next time call-ups will be made for the national teams, and teams will be playing shorthanded, and that's coming again here next week, actually, as the U.S. team prepares for a 2-game stretch with South Korea, and a pair of friendlies will be played in Boston and in New Jersey coming up. And then the Canadian national team also on June 19th will have a friendly against Germany, so a lot of teams around the league will be having some of their players called up and talking to some of the Red Stars coaches and ownership. That's a chance they feel for them to really make some ground in the standings, because they feel like maybe some of the opponents that are going to be coming in here in the next couple of weeks are going to be affected a little bit more than they are by those call-ups.
Right. I think they showed that last week, that they're a team that's not affected when the national team players get called up, that they've been forced to build a deep roster and a deep lineup and get a lot of players playing, and really didn't fare out so well at the beginning allocation, and this is, I guess, a positive of that last they showed last week against Portland, that national team players are missing and they're just as strong.
Masser into the box, found Grings, but Sitch unable to get there in time for the rebound. That ball actually misplayed in the air by Nogueira for Boston, allowed that to get behind her and get to Grings, but Breaker's able to escape that without any damage. Pushing it forward, that was Sanderson along the far line, and Hemmings able to get there first for Chicago. Once again, the Red Stars defense able to play well as well. Shannon Boxx was here with us a few minutes ago. Michelle Winino made a great run against Sydney Leroux and kept her marked all the way down to the end line, unable to get free. Foose now playing it forward. The German will make a run all the way up into the attacking end. Foose around a defender, all the way into the box, still going towards the end line. Now she'll send it back for Masser. From the corner, Masser. Nobody home along the far post.
Yeah, and Masser had two players, McDonald and Grings, just waiting wide open on the far post. If she could have just chipped that to the far post, would have had two players with the opportunity to get on the end of it.
Monica, we talked about this throughout the first half, but this Chicago Red Stars team today looks light years different from how, especially on the attacking end, from how this team looked a month into the season.
Well, being able to get the ball into the attacking third and hang on to it for a little bit makes a big difference, and it makes a big difference defensively as well, because it allows your defenders and your defensive midfielders an opportunity to get a breather. So that's something that Chicago's able to do now. They're able to hold the ball up front, combine, take their time in the attack.
Kolupny into the box. Phillips was off her line, centering pass, nobody home, and then Kolupny falls to the turf. Chance for the counterattack now as Leanne Sanderson in the middle of the field has space. Sanderson trying to find LaRue, but a bad pass. The defense easily able to step in front as Winino been marking LaRue all half.
And with the game opening up like this is going to favor Boston. This is what Boston wants. They want counters. Even though Sanderson wasn't able to find O'Reilly on that last counterattack, Chicago needs to be careful that this doesn't become a back-and-forth game.
Nogueira finds Sanderson again in the middle of the field, and a lot more space, you're right, for Boston to operate in this half. Wilkinson working it up the far sideline, now finds it Schepfer. Boston will retain possession as that one goes out of bounds. O'Reilly finds back to LaRue, center of the field. Hemmings made a stab at it, unable to come away with the ball. Now, Lohman back to LaRue. That time, two defenders collapse around her. Hemmings paid the price, but Chicago comes away with the ball, and Masser on the attack along the far side. Doesn't have numbers, though. Boston's going to be able to quickly regain possession through Kia McNeil. near side now. Julie King will play that back to Kat Whitehill. Beal unable to keep that on her foot, goes all the way back to Ashley Phillips. Boston once again resetting itself. Joanna Lohman bringing it up.
And Heather O'Reilly's out wide on the touchline. She wants that ball over the top into a corner.
Lohman again dribbles into a double team. Kolupny to the turf, trying to gain possession. Isn't able to do so. Boston will play it back to its back line, but still firmly in control of this ball. O'Reilly gets ahead on it. LaRue with a large distance of separation between herself and Winino, but she's offside.
That was a close one. That's unfortunate for LaRue because that was a great ball, a great read by Kat Whitehill. I had a feeling Kat was going to go to one corner or the other there because the Chicago back line was high and both O'Reilly and LaRue were outside on the touchlines waiting for that ball over the top.
Meanwhile, for the Red Stars, Ella Masser has just headed over to the sideline, is getting attended to over on the far side by the training staff. Masser, we told you in the first half, had a couple hard collisions. You appear to be looking at something on either her foot or lower leg. Hard to see from the angle we're at.
I'm going to go with that she got a turf burn and is bleeding on the knee, so they're putting a Band-Aid on it. From where we are, where we can't see anything, we'll go with that one for now.
And she is jogging back towards the field of play now, so I think you're exactly right, Monica. She doesn't look to be in any real pain. We'll put that one in your win column today. Well done. Here comes the attack for the Red Stars. Grings trying to find McDonald, unable to do so. Pardon me, it was Kolupny on the ball. Now Grings will be whistled for the foul behind the play there as she took Sanderson down hard.
And any kind of stoppages in play like this where the tempo slows down, this is going to favor Boston because Boston is the team that has the heavy legs.
That one sent deep towards the box. Chicago backline will put that right back in play, even though Boston didn't have numbers at all on it. Sanderson controlling it. Now O'Reilly. Kolupny able to take that one back for the Red Stars. A couple questions coming in on @Chicago Red Stars. Monica, I think you're maybe uniquely qualified to answer. One wondering from your perspective is, has the Mexican Federation gotten the results it's looking for out of its participation in the NWSL?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, it's hard to say because it's hard to say what their expectations were because I wasn't privy to the inside of the national team at that point. But I think that just the fact that they have so many players here training every single day with the quality of players they're training with, even though the majority of the Mexican players in this league aren't getting playing time, every single day in practice, they're getting a level of training that, quite frankly, they've never gotten before. So it's going to help. To be honest, I think this league is going to help the Mexican national team out more than the Canadian national team or the U.S. national team. And I think that in time, by the end of the season or even by next season, we're going to see players like Nayeli Rangel, like Denora Garza here from the Chicago Red Stars getting a lot more playing time. They're just in a period of adjustment right now.
The stoppage of play along the far side as a foul whistled against Chicago. And one of those other Mexican players you mentioned, Garza on the Red Stars, but Maribel Dominguez is a player who has had a lot of success for the Mexican national team and is part of this Red Stars roster. We've seen her in a couple games, but not a whole lot of playing time. And I guess there was a question earlier also on Twitter, what's the reason that maybe Maribel's had such a difficult time cracking the lineup?
Well, I can tell you that she came in not at her fittest, so I think that had a lot to do with it. But she's a hard worker, and she's got a great attitude, and the games that she's had the opportunity to play, she's done well. So I think she will continue to be a factor. I think I've talked to Rory Dames. He loves her. He thinks she's awesome. Her English is awful. She's the whole time she was with the Atlanta Beat, she never learned English, but she's got such a great attitude and has been working so hard, and honestly she's the best goal scorer in the history of Mexico. She's the most famous female soccer player ever in Mexico, and she's dangerous. There were periods where she carried our team alone, and nobody had a chance of scoring unless Maribel was on the field, and she was the only player that other teams feared, and she still has that in her, so she's still dangerous.
Chance for Boston now with numbers, and Chicago able to collapse, but maybe not quickly enough. Sydney Leroux, tough shot off the top bar, and McLeod able to corral it back in. Boston's still upset about a no call on the far sideline there, as a couple of fouls went unwhistled, but Sydney Leroux by far the most dangerous opportunity Boston's had all game, and missed that by inches.
Yeah, Sydney was staring at the sideline at the assistant referee waiting, thought that one went in, and unfortunately without replay capabilities or goal line technology or any of that, we can't tell. So y'all's guess is as good as ours as far as whether that was in or not, but we're trusting the referees, and just the fact that she was so wide open, that's a cause of concern for Chicago Red Stars defense.
Lisa Cole is beside herself on the Boston sidelines. The Red Stars now mounting a counterattack, and Phillips able to grab that one, but the fourth official over on the sideline is getting an earful from the Breakers coaching staff right now.
Yeah, just the way physics works. Typically, if a ball hits the pole and then hits the ground and then goes out diagonally, that means it was in. But it also has to be all the way across the line, and you have to trust what the referees call and just continue to keep playing. But that was a great job there by Heather O'Reilly, too, finding Sydney Leroux so quickly. That gave her the time to get it set up.
And it was maybe the first time all day that the back line of the Red Stars has really fallen asleep, because Leroux was pretty wide open there in a 2-on-1 situation. We have another foul whistled. And again, as you said, hard to tell from our angle, but boy, that looked close.
Right, but that's also not a question if that ball is just placed tucked in on the ground as well. So you can always point the finger at someone else, and you can always turn around and say, well, I could have done this differently as well.
Got our first substitution of the afternoon coming on, as Joe Dragata will enter for Boston. Dragata on, and it appears Rhiannon Wilkinson off in the substitution, as McDonald battling her way through the back line, unable to get there in time, but Dragata was a third-round draft pick for the Boston Breakers in the NWSL draft this year. It's her fifth appearance on the season.
And she's got a lot of playing time of late. She was originally brought in to be a midfielder and has been playing outside back recently for the Breakers, so there should be no change in rhythm here for the Breakers at all.
Had a very good collegiate career at the University of Florida. She was SEC first-team player in 2012 as a senior. Scored 7 goals for the Gators, which was second on their squad that year. Now making her mark at the professional level.
I like that idea by Kat Whitehill. She was faced as though she were going to the left side of the field and just tried to hit a diagonal ball outside to Heather O'Reilly and find her quickly. I think that's what Boston needs to try and do, find those wingers a little bit more quickly.
Lots of space continuing for the Breakers in this half. Just a bad pass there, as Jessica McDonald able to get on it and then immediately turns it back over. Here is Sanderson moving forward.
Yeah, you could hear O'Reilly screaming from over here this way. She wanted the ball fast. She wanted the ball. That one she wanted at her feet. Just a miscommunication with Sanderson there. But the Kwan, the outside back, was pretty far off of O'Reilly. And if O'Reilly gets faced up with that much space against you, she's going to beat you down the sideline.
Entering the 67th minute of play here at Benedictine University. Red Stars leading Boston Breakers 1-0. Strength of a goal from Lori Kolupny back in the 26th minute. Her third goal of the season for Chicago is the scoring so far in this one, but there have been good chances for the Breakers to find an equalizer here in the closing minutes of the first half, and then so far in the second half, the offensive end has pretty much been dominated by Boston. highlighted by Sydney Leroux just missing on a goal moments ago. This is King now. Loses it to McDonald. Winterno trying to keep it in play for the Red Stars, unable to do so, as Boston will get it right back into the attacking third. King again on the near side, working her way in on Winterno. Now she'll move towards the center of the field. Had a crossing attempt there that headed out by Hemmings, and we'll have a corner coming for the Breakers. Katie Schepfer is the corner specialist for Boston. She's taken 28 of them now on the season. Breakers with just 2 in the box. Schepfer will send it long. It's harmlessly headed out towards the sideline by Winterno. Dragata now will have the throw in for Boston on the far side. Breakers looking to keep that pressure going. O'Reilly right back to Dragata. Now O'Reilly in towards the box. Looking for Leroux. Winterno flicks it towards the corner. Goes down to the turf hard, trying to chase that one down, keep it in play. Once again, a corner opportunity for Boston.
And those long, direct services into the box isn't what Boston is ideally looking to do, but Heather O'Reilly saw an opportunity to try to get it over to Leroux quickly, and Boston was able to get a corner kick out of it.
It'll be O'Reilly to take the corner this time from the near side. This one played more directly towards the box, bounces around a couple times over Winterno's head. Boston was able to get a foot on it, but couldn't do anything as Whitehill sends it out of bounds, and McLeod will reset things for Chicago. Red Stars really looking to mount an offensive attack for the first time here in quite a while.
Yeah, Boston's taken over momentum of this game the last 20 minutes, and part of that is because they've been pushing more numbers forward.
Once again, Boston with a quick turnover. Sanderson making a run towards the middle. Sent forward again by Hemmings, who started to make a run, lost control in the middle of the field. Sent over towards Masser, but she couldn't come up with it, so Boston retains possession. Sanderson looking to turn, has it dispossessed. Leroux again putting pressure on the goalkeeper, McLeod, who sends that one up and out of bounds.
Yeah, Leroux is dangerous putting pressure. She gets there fast.
Closing speed is what made her such a great collegiate player, what's made her such a great international player already in her young national team career, and she's making her mark here with 6 goals on the season already.
Yeah, and I love that Lisa Cole is trying to make her more of a multi-dimensional player, because in college you can still get away with being the kind of player that just gets played in behind and you use your speed. But at the international level, that doesn't work all the time, and you have to have more dimensions. And Lisa Cole had told me that Sydney actually wanted the team to play a 4-4-2 so that she could get practice playing a forward position, which is basically the position she's competing for with Alex Morgan and Abby Wambach. But Lisa said, listen, if you play a winger for us, if you play an outside forward, you're becoming more multidimensional, and you're going to be more dangerous for your national team, and you can actually be that player that forces Tom Sermani to change the formation because he needs you on the field.
Substitution for the Red Stars in the 71st minute. Alyssa Motz is on. Jessica McDonald will take a seat for the rest of the afternoon. Motz getting her 6th game of action in for Chicago. She scored a goal earlier this year. Chicago battling for it right in the center of the field. Hard collision there sent Leanne Sanderson down to the turf briefly. Back up. Motz giving chase up top. She's slotted in here on the near side, making a play on the ball now. Winterno finds Kolupny. Here comes Chicago for the first time. Good play into the box. Kolupny on Masser. collision there as Masser goes down hard again. I think she was offside anyway. It was close. The flag was up.
Yeah, that was really close. That was a great run by Master. That was an incredible ball by Lori Kolebny. I don't know how she saw that so soon and delivered that driven pass. But right now the concern is Ella Masser because she doesn't look good down there on the field.
Well, the training staff being waved out onto the field, and Masser and Ashley Phillips collided as the Red Stars forward trying to put a play on the ball, and she's still down just at the top of the box.
Yeah, when the keeper came out, she just got her legs cut out from under her and took a hard, hit the ground hard and just took a couple really hard rolls.
We talked about the grit that Chicago wants to display earlier in the broadcast, and we've talked about Masser throughout the day, but just the mentality that she brings to the game. She was going to get up and walk off. There's no question about that. It was just a matter of how long it was going to take her to collect herself. But Ella Masser walking off under her own power, certainly a good thing to see. Is, you know, the Red Stars have been bitten hard by the injury bug so far this season, and Masser has not been immune to that. She's been banged up a couple of times, hasn't missed a game yet because of it, but it's definitely taking a toll. She'll walk over and try to collect herself over on the Chicago bench.
Yeah, and it's a long season. We're only a third of the way through, so players need to be very cautious, take very good care of themselves. And you know, I went out to practice this week, and Rory Dames still has the girls doing ice baths almost every day, and that's something that'll help you get through a season.
That's something you miss, right? Ice baths?
I never work out anymore, so I have no reason to do ice baths. That would require being sore.
Further good news for the Red Stars is Masser has just trotted back out onto the field, so okay to continue here this afternoon. Both teams now back at full strength as LaRue in the center of the field for Boston turns that over.
I actually learned about the ice bath from my dad. He had me doing that stuff in middle school. Pretty crazy. On club soccer tournaments, fill the bathtub up and hop in. Really? Why? It's going to make you feel better. Are you crazy?
Nice cross in the box. McLeod knocked off her feet by Joanna Lohman. The ball sails out of bounds. Shepard put just a little bit too much into that one for Boston. But again, the Breakers, opportunity after opportunity, they're knocking on that door trying to find that equalizer here in the 75th minute.
And one of the things that Chicago Red Stars players relayed to me is one of the themes throughout the season has been don't take breaks. And that's concentration, don't take breaks. So from here on, for the rest of the game, they cannot take even a 1-minute mental break because Boston will be all over and take advantage of them.
This game, the first of a big stretch of games for Chicago. They've got 4 games in a short number of days. Red Stars back in action right here at Benedictine Thursday night, June 13th. That's a 6:30 p.m. game as FC Kansas City comes to town for the first time this season. Bad pass there by the Red Stars as McLeod takes down LaRue, and the net open for Chicago right now. The back line will have to collapse on that. But a mistake there, and a rare one by the German Sonja Fuchs.
Yeah, she was a little too calm on that one. A little too calm on that pass back, and even just now with Sydney LaRue coming right at her, made me a little bit nervous.
McLeod went charging out hard into LaRue. No whistle on that as that cross will sail out of bounds from Sanderson. A corner kick coming for Boston once again, and another set opportunity for the Breakers. Riley again into the box, and McLeod snags it out of the air briefly, dropped it, and then had to jump on top of it. But Ryan O'Gara was in the vicinity, and now McLeod stays down on the ground.
She fell kind of funny on that ball. It looked like she might have knocked the wind out of her.
Yeah, it looked like on the initial play she was able to get both hands on it and just couldn't quite catch it. It bounced to the ground, and she quickly pounced on top of it to her credit, and she'll signal that she's fine. So the tough Canadian.
She's very tough. She's also a really good artist. Have you ever seen that she does artwork, that she's a drawer and a painter?
I've seen a little bit of it, yes. Motts plays that ball off the goalkeeper's leg, and then a long shot there wide from Kolupny as the Red Stars creating some havoc in the box now, and we're going to have another change coming for Boston.
And I like that Kolupny took that first time. That was the best opportunity she had to just try and drive that into the net. Unfortunately, just didn't get it on frame.
It will be Noguera taking a seat for Boston as we're still waiting to see who's come on.
Yeah, I had a chance to visit with Erin McLeod and went over to her apartment and saw all these incredible drawings. One of the Statue of Liberty. She's going to have a show soon, and she is incredibly talented. I was extremely impressed. I will take it upon myself to find out when she has this showing. She said she has about 24 more pieces to finish, but she's going to try to have something probably in the next 3 or 4 months, and that would just be incredible. Anyone who's a fan of art or who wants something very unique in a form of a Canadian national team goalkeeper / Chicago Red Stars goalkeeper piece of art in their house, I know that I will be interested in getting myself one.
I'm sure she appreciates the plug, too. Who sent that one out of bounds for the Red Stars. Back to the substitution for Boston. Noguera off. Kaya Simon on, the Australian native. Now appearing in all of Boston's games so far this season. So Simon on in the 78th minute of play. She's got a goal and an assist on the year already for the Breakers.
Yeah, definitely no breaks from here on out for the Chicago Red Stars. Kaya Simon's a dangerous one.
Simon slotted also along the near side as that pass from King goes right to the Red Stars. It'll stay with the Breakers though. King will reset and find Simon. Simon, well known to fans of the Boston Breakers. She led the club in scoring last year in the WPSL. A late whistle here being whistled against Chicago as Leanne Sanderson's still on the ground complaining about the foul.
Going back to Simon though, she's got speed. She's great 1v1. She's the type player that always wants the ball, wants it at her feet. Very dangerous, good in the box, good finisher. She's really got it all. It's just a matter of her for a time and improving more.
Whitehill looking for Simon. She and King collided midair. I'm not sure which of them actually got their head on the ball, but it goes out of bounds. Back to Chicago as Boston had 3 players kind of camped under that ball and nobody able to do anything with it. Fans, a reminder to follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter or visit NikeSoccer.com for all the latest news and information on Nike Soccer products. And again, at Chicago Red Stars on Facebook. Keep up with all the latest news and notes. Up the far line there and played right to Ashley Phillips. Head back the other direction. Masser still trotting behind, trying to see if she can come up with something there. As we're in the 81st minute of play. Chicago with a 1-0 lead over Boston still. They scored in the 26th minute, and it is held up to this point.
And what Boston has essentially done in taking out Noguera and putting in Kaya Simon is take out a defensive player, add an offensive player.
So Rings all alone by herself now, corrals it down on the end line, tries to play it around her defender, unable to do so, and Boston will take it right back. Not a lot of offensive support there for Rings.
So what I was just commenting about Noguera coming out, Simon coming in, what we're going to see is Lohman playing lone defensive center mid and having 2 attacking center mid. So Chicago needs to make sure and stay very organized and keep an eye on those 2 players, because they'll be running forward trying to get behind the back line as well. It's essentially Boston attacking with 5 right now, plus the outside backs if they decide to go forward.
Meanwhile, Chicago countering with a defensive substitution. Lydia Vandenberg, who we didn't think we were going to see today, has come on. In addition to the back line, Ella Masseroff, as Simon creating a little havoc along the attack for Boston.
And Coach had told me and made clear that she could potentially play today, but they had wanted to save her for the later games in the week. But apparently this decision is just saying, hey, we really want these 3 points. We really want this first win at home.
So important for the Red Stars, looking to build on the momentum of that first overall win coming last weekend at Portland. A huge win on the road for Chicago. Making it 2 in a row at this point in the season gets them right back into the heart of the standings in the league as Simon earns a corner. Meanwhile, Boston looking to flip the table on maybe what happened to them earlier this week with a heartbreaking last-second goal that they allowed. Ended up being a tie in Western New York as the corner served in here by O'Reilly. Headed by Hemmings. O'Reilly will find it back again. She beats Foose one-on-one, and McLeod snares that one out of midair. Great stop by the Chicago keeper.
And this is why all game I've been saying, got to get the ball to Heather O'Reilly. You got to get the ball to her feet, because that is exactly what she does.
She's so dangerous along that end line, too. She's made a career out of that as Chicago quickly pushing it the other way, flying down the line as Motts stops, shoots, and right at Ashley Phillips. Winino wins that one for Chicago. Red Stars looking to keep that momentum going. Motts trying to fight through a double team. She'll lose it. Over to Lohman. Phillips now will push it. Again, you see that wind has been blowing pretty consistently from left to right all game. It's actually died down a little bit here in the second half, but seems to be picking up again. There was a chance of rain in the forecast, and as of yet, we managed to avoid any of that here this afternoon.
We've got clouds all around, but they're not doing anything, just blocking the sun.
Really a very pleasant afternoon, though. It's been a cool spring and early summer in Chicago, and that is continuing today. Temperatures in the 70s here, and very pleasant temperature to be out on the field today. Chicago a little bit bunched up now with Grings and Motts right next to each other. Motts back towards Kolupny, tried to give it back to her, and miscommunication there. That one will sail out of bounds.
Yeah, there was no reason Motts couldn't have just continued that run. The space was there. That's exactly where Chicago Red Stars want the ball, down in that corner.
Sitch and Vanderberg collide in the air for Chicago, both trying to win that one, and then sent forward by Kwan. Kwan taken down hard that time by Kaya Simon. No call on that. It'll be a Boston throw-in along the far side. And Simon sends it right back out of bounds. Vandenberg, who slotted in where Masser had been. Keep moving forward. Kwan will take the throw-in in front of her own bench. 86th minute of play. Chicago with the 1-0 lead over Boston as Leanne Sanderson steals that one for the visiting Breakers. Unable to control possession, and then a foul whistled against Katie Shepford. Kolupny a little slow up off the turf as she collects herself from the foul.
Yeah, Kolupny gets knocked down a lot. That's the only way that people have been able to stop her.
She's the most fouled player on the Red Stars roster. Although on the flip side of that, she's also committed the most fouls of anyone on the Red Stars roster so far this season. Kick goes off the wall. Now back to Sitch. He's beaten off the ball by the defender, and here comes Boston the other way. Lohman with plenty of space in front of her. Sitch closing hard, but Lohman gets it up to O'Reilly. Met by Winino. And the ball turned over. Ahead to Motts. Whitehill looking to push it back the other way, looking for LaRue down the near side, and McLeod working with her defenders to come in and snag that one off the turf and keep the dangerous Sydney LaRue once again the ball off her foot. LaRue had by far the best chance for Boston in this game, putting it off the crossbar and somehow not managing to slip it in the second half. We're in the 88th minute of play. Have to imagine a fair amount of stoppage time coming. We've had a couple injuries here in the second half.
Yeah, there's definitely still a lot that can happen in this game.
This will be Hemming standing over the ball for Chicago now. Towards the center of the field, Motts tries to win it in the air. Instead, it's Boston coming away with that. O'Reilly back to collect it, looking for LaRue.
Great win by Winino there.
O'Reilly back up on the top, and Foose heads that one out, but Boston will keep possession. Sanderson looking to get this one back in quickly. Winino steps in front of that throw-in. That one sent ahead for LaRue. Instead, Hemmings will send it back to McLeod, who will scoop it up right as the dangerous attacker gets close. Boston wins that one back. Sanderson. This is Simon along the far side. Vandenberg in the middle of things for Chicago. Thinks she won it on the ground for a throw-in. Referee disagrees.
I'd love to see some of these attacking players like Kaya Simon, when she gets the ball at her feet, bring it down and try to go out at someone, take a risk, take a chance. She's got the skill to do it, and that's what the fans want to see.
Hemmings wins that back for Chicago. Sends it back towards midfield. Red Stars in possession. Motts making a run down the center of the field. Gets that away from one defender. Can't get it away from Kat Whitehill. Sitch again in the middle of the action there. She'll send that one out, but really it's been an outstanding afternoon for Julianne Sitch. We talked about it early in the game, and her defense really hasn't let up at all here in the second half.
Yeah, I'll give it 5 more minutes before I make my official announcement, because I don't want to say something and then jinx everything.
Simon working one-on-one against Foose. And German beats her to the ball, keeps it in play for Chicago, now down towards the corner. The two internationals going at it, and Chicago comes away winning that.
One amazing play can still win you the Player of the Game award. So we'll hang on a few minutes before we give our votes.
We've reached 90. They have signaled in 3 minutes of stoppage time, and a late change is going to come for Boston here. Adriana Leon on for the Breakers. Boston now with a chance right in front of the goal, and Winino able to keep that one away. Breakers quickly looking to move things along on the offensive end. Simon in the middle of the field now with the ball at her feet. Kaya Simon will lift that one wide of the net. And she had Heather O'Reilly on the left side. Maybe not the decision she should have made in that situation.
Well, you can never fault a player for shooting as long as they get a decent shot off and put it on frame. But she did have Heather O'Reilly there, which could have been another option. That's something she's got to see sooner.
Clock ticking for the Breakers. Is a hard collision there, and we're going to have a foul whistled against Julie King, who disagrees. Inka Grings, though, I think will feel that's a good call. Grings-King colliding hard. They're right at midfield.
Yeah, there was a pop. That collision was so hard. The two of them made a scary noise, but I'm glad that they both got up right away.
Be Sonia Foose standing over this one for Chicago.
And Grings is the only one pushed up forward on the line.
Right into the center of the defense is Foose's kick. Good job there by Sitch to send that one all the way down the line and force Ashley Phillips to come over and quickly get that ball back into play for Boston. Grings giving chase again. Chicago battling tough here in these closing minutes of stoppage time. Simon O'Reilly well out of bounds when she caught that and tried to keep playing.
She tried.
Chicago throw-in is the call and clearly the correct one. Boston upset. I think they're just trying to cause a little confusion down there maybe between the officials, but Heather O'Reilly was 3 yards out of bounds. This time the ball will belong to Boston as King looks to get that back in play. Winino and O'Reilly battling. The Chicago defender coming away with that, and that goes off LaRue. It'll be Chicago ball once again. Winino looking ahead. That one this time off of Grings. Boston running out of time here to find an equalizer.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough for them to get anything going with the ball bouncing around so much.
Good job by Chicago. And again, Grings able to cause a little disruption there with Kat Whitehill. Phillips is really going to have to get this one ahead in a hurry.
Sonia Foose pushed the back lineup, the Chicago Red Stars back lineup, extra high, which is just going to allow the midfielders to push forward and keep that pressure on the Boston Breakers.
Vandenberg won that one in the air, and now Grings is going to dribble it down along the sideline. She's got an extra help if she wants it, and does send it to Vandenberg. Boston finally with the ball, and there's the whistle. It's not going to matter. The Chicago Red Stars have put together a pretty impressive performance to beat Boston 1-0 and earn their first home win of the year. That's now back-to-back victories on the season for a Chicago team that all of a sudden is trending upward and right back in the heart of this NWSL race.
Chicago Red Stars are a completely different team now. Today they demonstrated exactly what Rory Dames says this team needs to be, and that's grit. All over the field. Julianne Sitch, she does get the Player of the Game award for me. Did not let Leanne Sanderson get anything done. Michelle Wanino, I was a little bit hard on her for her offensive participation, but defensively, she shut her man down. Chicago Red Stars did a great job. You know, they just never let Boston get anything going, and Boston just wasn't able to do what they do today, and that's credit to the Chicago Red Stars' grit and their defending.
So three more points for the Chicago Red Stars moves them to 8 on the season and moving up the standings in the NWSL. Red Stars back in action at home again Thursday night, June 13th. FC Kansas City comes in, and Chicago looking to put together a third straight win in that one. That's a 6:30 p.m. game right here at Benedictine University. If you can't make it out to the field, we'll have it for you here on ChicagoRedStars.com. But again, Monica, I mean, we've talked about it all day, but just an impressive performance for Chicago. You had Lori Kolupny on the goal in the 26th minute that held up throughout the game. You had great defending and really an all-around team victory for the Red Stars.
And I think they've got to be very happy because from here they can only go forward. They've got more to build on. They still have players on the bench that can come in and get things done for them. Maribel Dominguez didn't come in today, but she's also a player. So they've got depth. They've got new players coming in, and just in a great space. And with time, we're going to see them being able to utilize Inka Grings more, and that's going to be exciting for everybody because she's an incredible player to watch, and this league is very fortunate to have her playing in it.
So once again, your final score: Chicago Red Stars 1, Boston Breakers 0. That will do it for us here this afternoon. For Monica Gonzalez, my name is Rob Coons. Thank you so much for joining us on the Chicago Red Stars webcast. We'll see you right back here Thursday night, 6:30, for the Red Stars in Kansas City. Have a great night, everybody.